And welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z What If. What if Piccolo and Gohan had trained in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber during the Saiyan Saga Part 2? Do 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 do. Anyway, back at the plot. So as I will sum up from the previous video, all of our gang has to get some serious training back in due to the fact that Frieza will most likely be at planet Earth in right around a week. Now, fortunately, they all have time to use in the time chamber, and they're going to be, like I said at the end of the last video, they're using all their time up at this point. Gohan and Piccolo both have a full day. Goku actually has almost a full year. He only spent a month's worth of time in the time chamber the first time. Add on to the fact, and I don't know if this plays a factor, but because Goku died, it may have reset how many times he can go in there. That might actually be why Popo said he had another time to go in there, because he died. He came back. And all the gang has at least 2 times in there. Now, Vegeta will not be going in the time chamber. They're not trusting his ass as far as they can throw him. However, that said, they do agree that Vegeta still needs to get stronger. So what they're going to let him do is use the pendulum room and basically take advantage of that and all the goodness. Now, granted, all the opponents they could be throwing at Vegeta are just too weak, mostly, at least at first. They can scale up, maybe even use some like old Frieza forces, like the equivalent of Zarbons and Dodorias and whatnot. Long story short, in a week, because they do have access to the Senzu beans. Let's get the power levels out of the way. Now, before I do that, I gotta also mention, someone brought up the idea that, well, yeah, Goku and Gohan and Piccolo could actually all go in the time chamber together because Piccolo could just survive on water if he needs to. And that's true, but I get the impression Goku's not going to want to train on his own, and they're not letting Vegeta use the time chamber at this time. That could come back to play later. I haven't decided yet, but because that means he still has 2 goes. Because it's also important that you usually have at least another person in there for your own sanity. At this point, Piccolo or Goku could definitely handle it on their own, but regardless. So let's crack out some numbers now, baby. Let's do this shit. So, remembering where our power levels are at. Vegeta's around his standard power level 30 grand right now. All of our Z fighters are roughly speaking at the power levels they are at for the Saiyan Saga. For easy numbers, though, we will round either up or down. So, for Krillin, we know his actual power is roughly around 1,500. That's because he has 1,500 at the beginning of the Namek Saga, and we know humans, as far as I know, don't get Zenkais, and he probably didn't really do any training, so that 1,200 that was read is not correct. Chaozu is actually rounded up, is about 700. Tien is actually, I believe, 1,830, so we round that one down, he's only 1,800. Yamcha is 1,477, so that's 1,500 for him. And Goku is at 8,000, Gohan is at 18,000, Piccolo is at 90,000. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is where I decided to put Piccolo. Ultimately, it was 90,000. I might correct that, or that might not be correct, but that's where I decided to keep him. Anywho, so let's start with Vegeta quick first. I mean, I'll be spending a couple minutes because we got to address where they're at. With Vegeta, he's probably going to get like he's going to get like 1 big Zenkai and like 2 minor Zenkais. Because, at some of the fights he's doing, he's just getting overwhelmed, like with just sheer numbers, which helps him a bit, but not anything serious. Ultimately, when you factor in Zenkais, I'm putting Vegeta right around 800,000. Now, granted, this is over the course of a week, so this is after people already go in the time chamber to train. First and foremost, I think they want the other guys to go in there first to get an idea of what it feels like to go in there. So you'd have Chaozu Tien go in there first. I've always said this: Chaozu's power is not going to get that high, and Tien is going to suffer because he only has Chaozu to go train with. Now that said, that doesn't mean they're not going to get a lot of usage out of it. In fact, Chaozu might get a little extra usage because it's such a wall between him and Tien. Add on to the fact that Tien would still get a lot of training. He could train on his own as well as with Chaozu. So Chaozu conservatively, because we know he's not a martial artist in the traditional sense, he's got psychic abilities. I'm just going to give him a straight 10. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. And it does sound a little hypocritical what I was saying, but it is what it is. So $7,000 for him. Tien definitely is going to get more than the 10 times 10 multiplier. I think though we might be pushing it with the times 20. So the first go around in the time chamber with those two, Chaozu is amazingly at 7,000, and Tien currently sits at 10, 8 would make it 18, 36,000. So Yamcha and Krillin go in there next, and they're actually pretty much dead even, which means they get a lot of good training out of each other. That would puts them. Yeah, I would imagine Krillin probably had the better potential and was probably just a better fighter overall, which means I think he's going to get a bit stronger than Yamcha. I, however, think that unlike say just the pure 20, I think like 25 for Yamcha and 30 for Krillin is not out of the realm of possibility. So that would put then now Krillin at a full, let's say 10, 45,000, and Yamcha, you take what? 5 of that out, so you're looking at 75. So that would put him, roughly speaking, at 37.5 thousand, which puts him just slightly over Tien at this point. Tien notices this, and Vegeta, after getting some training in, notices this and notices how they've actually almost all of them have surpassed him already. And he's got to really get on the training. It's around the third day he gets one of his big Zenkas. But then one of the big ones, Piccolo and Goku go into the time chamber together. And that's a big one because Piccolo right now far exceeds Goku, but this gives Goku a huge wall to overcome and really improve. And as Goku's improving and getting higher grades of Kaioken to actually push himself and then push Piccolo, they are both highly benefiting from this. I will say that I think a legitimate 10 times multiplier for Piccolo is straight out fun because he's still got a weakened Goku there and he's got to train on his own to some degree until Goku can really pick up the pace. But Goku, the first go around, easily getting a times 20, I don't think is out of the question at all, which would put him at 160. Now that puts him well under Piccolo, but at that point, I do believe that he could handle the Kaioken at least the times 5, handle that no problem. Probably even handle the times 10, because at that point his power is definitely now hitting that area. But we're not done yet, because now Goku basically says, "I want you guys to go in the second time around for another round." Yeah, because I want to spend the last one to be just me and Gohan. And he's like, "Cool." And Gohan gets to spend time with his dad. Great. So they go in for their second times, Tien and Chaozu. This time, it's not as easy for Tien to get stronger or Chaozu. Now, granted, they do still get to spend a lot of time in there. I will conservatively say, though, that Chaozu at this point only gets maybe a times 2. Tien, I think, is still able to manage a times 10, though, which puts him now at 360,000. I think it's still very reasonable that that's a possibility. But Chaozu, I think, now at this point is, left a little in the dust by everyone else. Then you get Krillin and Yamcha again. Now it's a little bit more one-sided, but I actually think it's still a reasonable concept to believe that both get probably a 20 times. They're probably both even at this point, 20 times each, which puts well, maybe not 20. Yeah, no, 20, because they're almost equal. They can push each other pretty hard. So, which puts now Krillin at around, puts him right equal to Vegeta when he gets out, or actually a little stronger than Vegeta. Puts him right equal to Piccolo of all people, and Yamcha surprisingly is at a respectable 750, but no, yeah, 750. He's 750,000. And then Goku and Gohan go in for their final time together. And this is where I think Goku, besides just sparring with his son, seeing how strong he is at this point, actually decides to show him something and show him the Kaioken, this technique he's learned. And he explains how he learned it. And it's the same, and the parameters for learning are pretty much the same here. He's in the same gravity. He tells him what King Kai showed him. And he tells him, though, you got to be careful. If you let rage overcome your heart too much, this thing will kill you. This will cause your body to literally explode if you're not careful. And so after maybe 3 months of time in there, Gohan has learned the Kaioken. Now, in terms of power levels by the time they get out, this is the real kicker of it all. Because I do believe we get, like, seriously... Because the Saiyan physiology is just mind-boggling sometimes. I think Goku might actually be hitting right around 1 million. Particularly, like, 1.6. Easily, I think he can get it 10 times. Especially as Gohan is increasing in power drastically. I think Gohan is able to go from 18 to at least 500,000. Well, he probably only can do a 5 times Kaioken because of his body, and that's his maximum. Goku at this point can easily do a times 10. So they all get out. They're all like sensing powers and all that. Vegeta is just astounded by everyone. Just like, ugh. And really, like the only ones he can really train, like, and I feel bad for kind of really shitting on Tien a little bit, but Tien really needs to change up his training habits because it just clearly isn't working as well as he'd hope. But anyway, they are prepared. There's like an extra day, and so they're, again, spending it with their loved ones. Piccolo has actually now kind of become... Chi-Chi's might be a little put by them at first, but he's actually become a reasonable person. Like, he took care of Gohan. She can actually tell he cares about Gohan. So, she lets him, like, stay for dinner and all that, It's like, and it's like, okay, fine. But, it's like, but you try anything. And it's like, trust me, Goku's got my number if I try anything. And so they have a nice... Vegeta, meanwhile, is being kept on the lookout. Like, Krillin... I guess Piccolo should actually be the one looking over Vegeta just in case. But I imagine Vegeta actually spending, like, the last day training. He's like, screw them. And finally the day comes. They do give him a Senzu, and that's where he gets his final Zenkai. And eventually they do sense the ship approaching. They says, like, ugh. So, that blasted Kai was right. Or your blasted God was right. It was about a week. Stay frosty. Keep your eyes open. I've got a bad feeling. And so, the Frieza forces land, and they meet them there. They say, oh, Vegeta, there you are. Where have you been? You missed your little friend Nappa's little... situation, shall we say. Could have used your help fiercely. No, I would have died with him. That's why you should have helped him. Frieza just flat out just giving him shit right out the gate. He's like, oh, it seems you made some new friends. Hello, I am Lord Frieza. And I'm here something you folks call Dragon Balls. Tell me, would you happen to be able to tell me where the location is? Oh, sure, but they're not going to be any good to you. Why not? Because they're inactive. We already used the wish, and they're not going to be active again for another year. So you're saying you have Dragon Balls, but you won't give them to me? Well, that's not entirely. Oh, no, that's what you're saying. I can't get to my wish for a whole another year. But you could still find them for me, couldn't you? Well, they kind of just turned to stone otherwise. So, we're not going to be able to find... And they're kind of saying this because they think they can take him. Because they can sense his power. It's impressive. But they've got him beat. Tell me, what do the sensors say? Our scouters, not the scouters. The sensors from the ship's readings. What are they? And, they're picking up readings. We got 750,000, 800,000, 900,000 between the two of them. That guy's over 1 million. I was like, what? I see. So you've decided to stand up to me after all, Vegeta. There's no way I'm letting you get that wish, Frieza, no matter what you say. I see, but just to make things a little bit more fair, let me show you a little trick. Wait, that's right. No, don't let him. Don't let him. He can transform. He's hiding his true power. You're too late. And all of a sudden, he powers up, and they all sense it. Now, fortunately, at only over 1 million, he's not that much stronger than like the big hitters of the group, which surprisingly includes Yamcha in this version. They go toe to toe. He heads in, and he tries to overtake them, but Goku quickly just throws him, catches his hand, and catches him off guard, and just throws him back to the group. where they're all starting to beat the hell out of him. It's like, you're done, Frieza! Finally about to just blast him. God, fuck, me, special beam, cannons! And then there's a big explosion. And after the explosion is settled, they all can sense it. Wait, what? And Goku can sense it too. Now he's like, but there's Frieza in his third form, not doing so well, because that was still a lot of powers simultaneously hitting him. He had to transform just to stop that. And he's like, you bastards. Tell you what, I'll do you a favor. To which all of a sudden, he's about to power up again. All of a sudden he gets smacked in the face by Gohan, who's going full-on Kaioken, which is his full-on 5 times Kaioken, which is the most he can really handle right now. And it's still kind of like doing the number on his body, but he's still able to come in and beat the living crap out of Frieza. No, you won't! You won't hurt anyone! Blast Frieza into the ground. And Gohan suddenly just drops it. Gohan, what was that? He said, wow, son, are you okay? He's like, I'm fine, Dad. Did we get him? He's like, all of a sudden they set the power increase, although just because the power increases doesn't mean it's going to heal everything from that. Like, yeah, he healed his tail when Krillin cut it off, but he just got a full-on blast that was easily twice as strong as he actually was, or close to it. Point blank to the face. I have to imagine that when Frieza like transfers to his final form, he's a little like, I'll kill you. And they just sense his power, like, no. And then Goku finally steps in. It's like, no, you won't. And he's like, that's my way, monkey. And Goku realizes, like, okay, I can't. This guy's still stronger than me. Does an immediate Kaioken, which helps even the playing field just a little bit. But he immediately goes to a ×2 instead. And that's where they get the real interaction. Goku just starts beating. Like, they go back and forth for a little bit. It's like, you think you're so smart, but you'll barely be using any of your power. I will be using 1% of my power. He's not bluffing, Kakarot! Don't let him get away! And so, he's like, Kaioken touchdown! And Goku see, Goku's many things, but surprisingly when it comes to battle, he's not quite an idiot. Yes, in the original, he decided to let Frieza power up. But here, I don't, and even with, like, I want to beat him at his very best. Here, they're on, I think that the context changes when you're on the Earth, is the thing. Because if they lose, Earth is boned. It's just boned. And I think Goku does realize this. So as Frieza's trying to power up, he's like, no, you don't! And he's just like, and kind of like does the Jiren thing where he's just kind of taking him into boulders. It's like, Kame. And Frieza tries to power up. And Frieza's starting to power up, but unfortunately he takes the hit point blank. Not point blank, but head on. And now he's there, and he's now like he's now missing the arm. Like part of his face is burnt. His sides. I'll kill all of them. To go into like the original dub was, I'll kill all of you. I'll kill you all. And then he suddenly starts creating the death ball because his other arm just isn't working. It's like, not good. You prepare to die, you little monkeys! All of you! And just throws the death ball down, and they're all just trying to grab it. Just, like a combined blast from everybody. Just, gotta hold it here! Die, you! Die, you wretches! And Piccolo's just, he's charging as best he can his Mase Capo. And, he's doing the best he can, but unfortunately, he just doesn't have enough time. Gallic guns, Kamehamehas, firing just death ball versus beam struggle. It's insane. Piccolo finally turns special beam cannon, Mase Capo! Blast. And at first it doesn't do anything, but eventually it does hit straight through the attack, just like it did in the Tournament of Power. And then, and you just got this big hole in him now. It's just, we saw how much Frieza could survive, so that it's not impossible to think he could survive that if long as Lord Frieza, we got to get it back to the ship. All of a sudden, Vegeta shows up. You won't be getting anyone back anywhere, and then all of a sudden, just blows up the ship. And so, yeah, and blows up everything, and finally Frieza's just there. Oh, you monkeys, you slug, and he's just looking at them all. And it's Vegeta's like, he's already dying. He's like, then why don't we just then I'll do the one merciful thing I can think of for you, Frieza. I'll put you out of your misery. And he, is like, I'll stay you in hell, and he just blasts his head clean off. And so it's like, and the day is saved. But they now all look, and Vegeta's there, and it's a little tense. It's a little tense. So what happens now? I still will get my prize, but for now, I think our truce ends when I leave the planet. I promise I'll be back one day, but for now, he still got his honor. They helped him kill Frieza. He helped them kill Frieza. Honor, man. So they go, and so he goes off, flies off planet. Unfortunately, there is a little issue that's going to show up called King Cold. And unfortunately, in this timeline, King Cold's not going to show up the same time as Trunks shows up. So, King Cold probably hears about the death of his son. I mean, not too quickly, but quick enough. And, he goes, finally shows up on Earth. They all, once again, the Z-Fighters all show up. And they do have the Dragon Balls kit available again. Unfortunately, not even a Kaioken Times 50 for Goku right now. Even if you scaled up, and I think the little training he's up to like 2 million now, but even with a Kaioken Times 50, he would not be able to beat King Cold. Not even turning into Super Saiyan would he be able to beat King Cold, which frankly reveals a really big problem here for the rest of this What If. King Cold, because there's no Trunks here, King Cold is going to slaughter these fools. Now, if he ends up killing Gohan first, which he could, that might trigger Goku to go Super Saiyan. Great. Like I said, though, he can't do Super Saiyan form isn't enough. Now, there is one thing he might be able to do, and it is the one thing that could maybe cause this What If to go further. I'm not saying the What If's going to end here, because I still have to deal with the ramifications of what happens. If he adds Kaioken onto Super Saiyan, he would theoretically be able to beat King Cold. However, that is a suicide move in a human body, or not in a living body. This is due to the fact that I believe they explain why he never used it with Super Saiyan, because it was so volatile for his body, and Super Saiyan was all about, caused his ki to already be aggravated as it was. They all kind of get slaughtered, so, yeah. And then, it's like, oh, well, this planet seems very nice to begin with, though. So, and they kill Piccolo, so, they, try to hightail out of it, but King Cold's like, nope, none of that, no. And just skewers Krillin, frickin' wastes them, kills Kami, or kills Piccolo, therefore kills Kami. So he now takes ownership of this planet. So when Trunks shows up now, it is a very different scenario. It's like, wait, where is everybody? Wait, where's Frieza? Isn't he supposed to be here? Maybe Mom. And he goes, and you could think, because King Cold isn't anywhere near as petty as his son is. Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta because he was scared of the Super Saiyan. He was like, what's fun? King Cold was a businessman. And he still treats it like it. He's selling his planet to the highest bidder. It's eventually, he finds Bulma. It's like, what's going on? It's like, who are you? Do you work for us? I'm from the... I can't really say, where's Goku? Where's the rest of them? How do you know about them? Doesn't matter, they're dead. What do you mean they're all dead? They can't be dead. What about Vegeta? Even him? Vegeta? I mean, he didn't really come back here after everything that happened. He's still probably out in the stars somewhere, doing whatever he's doing. And he's like, what happened here? And she explains what happened, about how they killed Frieza, but then his father came and they couldn't beat him. So they've been dead now for years, for at least a year. He's been mourning, all that, very sad. It's like, no, this can't be possible. This can't be happening. Now, that being said, King Kai could use his connections with the Namekians to try to get them to use their Dragon Balls to wish him back. But it's a long go of just trying to get that. Plus, they can only bring one person back at a time. So obviously, you wish, as Piccolo said, you wish me back, that brings back Kami. So, but apparently, I mean, it's not all hopeless. Mr. Popo has visited every once in a while and even said that they're considering, they're trying to get something done. It's taking forever to find new Namek. Because I imagine that, because of the wish Nail made, it would actually, not new Namek, but Namek, it'd actually be difficult for King Kai to locate him. So that might be what's taking so long. So Trunks is now flabbergasted what to do. And as he's flabbergasted, one of the resident Frieza Force members, and now Cold Force members, says, Lord Cold, there's someone on this planet here. He's asking about those people, those warriors and Saiyans that you killed all those time ago.
Really? Oh, well, is it Vegeta?
No, it's someone else with purple hair and a sword.
Interesting. Well, perhaps I'll come and... It's been a little while since I've come out of the palace, so perhaps I'll come and visit.
And so, that's where we're leaving part 2. Everyone's dead, they're trying to bring him back, but it's taking a while, and Trunks is there with Cold showing up. So, where's it going? We'll find out. Until then, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.